I'm Elspeth. I'm originally from Belfast in Northern Ireland, and I moved away from Belfast to study. I lived in England for a number of years and now live in central Scotland. We had 3 boys, 2 of them are still here, and they're now 22 and 20. No, my husband and I got married back in 1994, and we were both sort of looking for new jobs sort of fairly soon after we got married, so looking to move, try new things. So it was a few years before we decided to try for a family. Late 1998, I discovered I was pregnant. Everything went well with the pregnancy. Apart from a very minor bleed early on, everything was fine. We got a 12-week scan, which was the normal procedure at that time in Falkirk. You got a 12-week scan and that was it. Yes, so in the last couple of weeks of my pregnancy, I was going in and getting a trace done of the baby's heartbeat, and everything was absolutely fine. I went beyond my due date, but that wasn't of any major concern, and I got to the point where they decided to induce me, and Bernard headed home to get some sleep. Midwife persuaded him that he should head home, and then within a couple of hours things started to happen, so he came back in and I was moved through to the delivery suite, and our son was born, but he was whisked out of the room at great speed. There was no crying or anything, it was completely quiet. He was whisked out and taken to the special care baby unit to try and resuscitate him because he hadn't made any effort to breathe. And so they spent time trying to resuscitate him while we were left in the delivery suite. And he was alive for about 45 minutes and sadly didn't pull through. The staff at the hospital were fantastic. The consultant came in to see us first thing in the morning when he came in, and we got to spend a bit more time with our son. We called him Jamie, so we got to spend more time with him before he then needed to be sent away for post-mortem. Well, when we were in the hospital, the midwife who was the head of the midwifery team that we were under the care of had helped set up a Falkirk Sands support group, and she very much encouraged us to contact Sands. Her advice was, these people have been where you've been, where you are, and they'll show you that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Any parent is proud of their child and wants to talk about their baby, and whether that baby's lived or not, you still have that desire to talk. I think that the biggest difference that Sands makes is that if people have heard of Sands, that's great. If they haven't heard of Sands, it's that realisation that they're not alone and that there are other people like them out there. If I hadn't had the support network that we had, I think it would have been quite hard in those early days, because the emotions are very, very raw. I mean, even just the first few days home, I don't think we even turned the television on. We just didn't want anything of the outside world at all. My initial thought about volunteering was before I had my second son. I did actually do a Befriender day training while pregnant, but my strong feeling at the time was we got a lot of help from the local Befrienders and really appreciated them coming out to visit us, being available to speak to by phone, and that they were running the support meetings. And I wanted to be able to give back to help other parents coming through the same or very similar journeys, and just felt it's important to have people. To me, it's the prime importance of what Sands does. Raising awareness is great and the research is great, and I totally back them, but the key to me is parents getting the support that they need. I think my advice would be to certainly consider contacting Sands if that feels right for you. There is support out there. There's a lot of support online as well as the local support groups. I think meeting people who've been through a similar journey is extremely helpful, but there are other forms of support as well if that isn't something you feel comfortable with. And there's lots of information about all the different aspects of baby loss available from Sands as well.